Well, I'll start with a statement. Obviously thrilled to be a part of the field. It doesn't take much to remind yourself how difficult it is to just even be a part of the NCAA tournament. It's not something you ever want to take for granted, and you certainly should never lack for enthusiasm or excitement when you're a part of the NCAA tournament, because it's not easy to do. And I credit our team in a big way of sticking with it from start to finish in terms of a regular season and a conference tournament. And you want to enter the NCAA tournament playing your best basketball, and you can make the case that we are doing that right now, especially offensively. So we're excited about our seed. We're excited about being in the West in Salt Lake City, home of Utah, a place we're very familiar with, a place that I think a lot of our fans can get to, parents of our players can get to easily. And we're excited about playing North Dakota. They're the regular season champion in the Big Sky Conference, and they won the tournament a few years ago. We played Weber State, and it was a tough game. They were one of the best, really one of the best coach teams we played during that season a few years ago, and now we're playing another team from that same conference, and we know it'll be a challenge. We're not looking past that game. It's about that game. And in a sense, we're entering a 14 tournament. And if you win, you have a chance to play for the Sweet 16. So that's our focus. And we have to have a great couple of days here before Thursday gets here.
Is it gratifying to know that Pac-12 tournament win really meant something? There were pundits saying beforehand that, it's already set, doesn't matter who's going to win this game, this team's going there, this team's going there. But you guys jumped to the 2, and the other 2 teams slipped to the 3. So it's gratifying knowing that win mattered in the seedings.
Of course, but it's a reflection of the respect of the Pac-12 conference this year. The strength at the top is I think, easily understood. And if it isn't, I think everybody will see that the quality at the top is real. And we have a number of teams that are capable of advancing. A year ago we got 7 teams in the NCAA tournament. This year we have 4. But it's so much about what you do when you enter the tournament, not just making it. And I want to congratulate the 3 other teams, UCLA and SC, Oregon. We're cheering for all 3 of those teams that they can have postseason success, because that reflects so positively on the Pac-12 conference. But yes, and I think the atmosphere, how our conference tournament has grown, it being in Las Vegas and then moving to the T-Mobile Center. I mean, it's a world-class facility. I mean, everything from the locker room you're in to how organized it is. It's brand new. It's state-of-the-art. And to see the crowd there for the semifinal game and the championship game was just it was incredible. And I know our fans have a lot to do with that. And we certainly respect them for showing up like they do.
If you were given a 1, say in the South or East or something, if they moved you up, would you rather have that than what you got being 2 in the West?
I've learned that's when you get a high seed, that's really what you look for. And if you have a chance to stay close to home or not travel as far to the games, staying in the same time zone, all those that's positive for your team. But whatever seed we were going to be given and wherever we were placed, we're fine. It's about us playing really well and playing together and trying to build off of this weekend.
As you're looking out now, you're looking, as long as you play, you're within the Pac-12 footprint. I mean, is that, I know you obviously got matchups to worry about, et cetera, but just the geography, does that make a big difference?
I think it does. I really believe it does. I mean, we've done very well when we've been placed in the West. We haven't taken that final step of getting to the last, 4 teams, the Final 4, but you advance to the Elite 8 a few times, and that's the region you've been in. I think we feel very good. Not that that's going to happen again, but again, the seed that we have, the location that we have, we're excited to have that as our path.
Sean, After Lowry went 1 for 15 from 3 over that stretch of games, how do you explain, or how do you view the way he just kind of turned back on this weekend? What do you think was the magnitude of the environment to kind of allow him to kind of reset to who he was before that stretch where he kind of struggled from 3?
You know, if you're a great hitter in baseball, there's always going to be those games or series where, as great as you are, just it didn't work out. You know, and a golfer, you know, as consistent as these guys are, and unbelievable shots, they hit that month stretch where it just, I mean, you just keep going in all sports, and you know, shooting the ball as a great shooter, that happens. But with Lowry, he's doing other things better than he ever did before. I mean, he made a couple defensive plays against Oregon that if you would have watched him play against Oregon the first time, it looked almost as if it was a mismatch in Oregon's favor. You know, he drew a charge, I think, on Dylan Brooks in the second half. It was a big play in the game, but I mean, he just moved his feet almost like he was 6'4" and stayed in front of him and took the charge. And that's something that he's added to his game, and his ability to score in and around the basket and do so many other things for our team. That's why I really didn't worry about it, because he wasn't worrying about it. He was just doing other things, and it's just a matter of time before somebody like him, as long as he's getting good looks, will break out. And you know what? It's up to us as a team and as a coaching staff to make sure that he gets good looks. And when he did, especially in the UCLA game, he really took advantage of them.
Are you a believer in momentum? Do you believe that yesterday was better for today and then tomorrow? And your victories, because you're playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in that. You know, the continuation of playing well. There's a reason we're scoring more points, or you know, you have to just take a look at the Pac-12 tournament. Let's start with Colorado. Colorado won 9 of their last 12 games. I thought they were playing their very best of their season, and they have a guard who Derek White, who I'll put up against just about anybody in the country, and a very experienced team, good coach, really good coach. UCLA, you know, how they score and the way they play, the season they had, I think they came into the game, 10 in a row? They were one of the hottest teams in the country, and you know, they're sitting on 29 wins, I think. And then you slide over to Oregon, and these are all on back-to-back days. You know, Oregon, the one asterisk I put next to them is, you know, Chris Boucher is a shame that it happened the way it did, and I think they'll be even better this coming week once they have some time to reorganize themselves. But I think it would be misrepresented if I didn't mention that they played us again. When we played them, he didn't play. You know what I mean? He's been a big part of their success. But nonetheless, we beat them. And when you're able to beat 3 teams like that on consecutive nights on a neutral court or away from home, I think you have a lot of confidence. So for us, building on that confidence and taking that type of confidence into our first game on a neutral court in Salt Lake City is the momentum that, no question, that we want to keep it going.
And did you see something from the weekend, because you obviously played well for all 3 games, that you didn't see or expect to see in those games? You know, your bigs were huge. PJC, I can't remember him playing any better. A lot of little things that added to everything.
No, we've been that team all year. We've had different players play well in different games. You know, as Lowry maybe hasn't scored as much from the 3-point line during that period of time, we had others step up. You know, even in the same game, you know, Raleigh, he had a stretch where offensively he made 3 or 4 big plays that, in my mind, broke the game open. And we don't even talk about him. So we're a balanced team on given nights. We've had different players step up. This weekend was a tribute to our total team, and it was an effort across the board by everybody.
And if I could, obviously Arizona's known for its guards for long stretches here, 30 years now. Not much is said about PJC, Allen, some of the others, compared to the ones in the past or even the ones in the country. Can you compare what you have now? And Allen said it's the best backcourt in the country. He's not going to say otherwise, but you know what I'm saying, how good they are relative to everybody else thinking that they're just 2 guys who play.
Yeah, you know, Kadeem Allen, the fact that he was on the all Pac-12, all conference team, he averages 9 a game, 10 a game. The opposing coaches are the ones that vote for him. I wasn't allowed to vote for him. So I think you can see how much they respect him, the value he brings to our team. And he does it in so many other ways. Parker is playing his best basketball of his career, and that's a big reason why we're scoring more points. He ignites our transition game. His assist-to-turnover ratio is outstanding. He's making three-point shots. He's an improved defensive player. He rebounded in the tournament, I mean, at a very, very high level. Matter of fact, he might have got the biggest defensive rebound in the game last night against Oregon. So he's doing everything. It's what you want to see with an upperclassman, somebody like himself who's played with us for 3 years.
And then just to add to that, Kadan is playing his best basketball too, I would assume. He's more aggressive, he gets to the basket more aggressively, and he defends even tougher than what he was doing before. Just how he's evolved into that guy that you would hope he would evolve to.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of Kadan, not only what he's doing on the court, but he's really become a great leader. He has the ultimate respect from everybody in our locker room. And at halftime, before the game, during the game, after the game, he's really a calming force, somebody that I think everybody respects a great deal, not just because of what he says, but more importantly, by how he approaches things. And he's a winner. There's no coincidence that we've won both the regular season title and the conference tournament title in his senior year. He's had a lot to do with it.
Are there any other subtle things that when you say it seems like things are hitting on all cylinders almost at this point? And you talk about Lowry doing those defensive moves not everyone would see. Are there any other examples of things like that that are going well besides the obvious with Lowry and Alonzo playing as well as they are, et cetera?
No. I think we've grown. The one unique situation we had this year, it's been well documented, is Alonzo missed 19 games, and he returned to a team that was 17-2 in those 19 games. So you're going to go through a growing period there. We did, but I think right now everybody's really sure of their role. They understand what we're doing, and they're just more confident in all aspects of the game. And confidence is a big part of sports. We have I think a humble team, a team who really knows what it takes, but make no mistake about it, I think we got a group and a team that really believes in themselves, and they should.
Seems like this is unusual in that you're mixing and matching a little bit with the start this late in the year, and it doesn't appear to be affecting chemistry. How does that work? Or is it something with them personality-wise, or the way it's able to?
Well, we've played against some really unique teams recently, small, like Arizona State. They play 4 guards, and Oregon does the same thing. So, sometimes you just have to be smart and make sure that you match up accordingly, and that's what we've done.
Yeah. What was your thought on the net result with Keanu starting? And granted, he had some mistakes, but like you said, he also kept some potential fouls away from Lowry. So
that was our mindset. Dylan Brooks is extremely aggressive at the beginning of each half. Beginning of the game, and he can really, really put fouls on your whole team, but especially on the player guarding him. So, he did that to Keanu, but, I don't want to say Keanu's expendable, but in the role that he had, it's better that it happens to him than Lowry. And at the same time, Keanu made some really productive plays while he was out there, allowed our team to rest some. We played 9 players, and in a tournament, that's important because 3 games in 3 days, it can really wear on you.
What's Keanu been like as far as mentally dealing with him during the year? There's been games we didn't use him at all. There's been games when he started the other day, and then he's been in some really key situations. But a lot of ups and downs, I guess. How's it been?
He's a great example of what we've had. We have a great group of guys. He really plays to win. He's a great teammate, knows his role. Every one of these guys would like to play a little bit more. Play a guy 37 minutes, and he's kind of like, man, why couldn't I play 39? Or it's just human nature. But everybody's accepted that it's so much about the team, and when you have that team success, it's incredible how these individual honors come our way. Alonzo being named the tournament MVP. Wouldn't have been named the tournament MVP if we didn't win the tournament. We had Lowry, who was a part of the all-tournament team as well. Ditto for the regular season. So all of our guys have really embraced their role. Keanu has done an exceptional job of that as well.
Do you have to explain that to guys sometimes, and in particular like with Kobe, who was seeing almost 20 minutes a game,
Mhm.
now he's down to less than 7 in the last
Mhm.
5. If you have to explain to him his new situation.
Yeah, Kobe's probably sacrificed more than anybody, but his attitude has been incredible. Above and beyond what you could expect for somebody as young as he is. But, Kobe's one of the more talented kids that we've had, and his future is incredibly bright. And, right now, I think he's focused on winning. You get that feeling of winning a championship. You want more of that. And we don't have 6 months left together. We may have 1 week, 1 game. You could have 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But, now this is truly March Madness. So I think all of our guys, Kobe included, Keanu, no matter who you name, they're focused on our team trying to get as far as we can. And he's handled his situation incredibly well.
Is this year any different than 2014 and 15, where there were a lot of expectations, possible Final Four with all that loaded talent, and then the year after just kind of the same, where you go in kind of, we got a shot or whatever, expectations from yourself or from whoever you hang out with?
Yeah, I think the number 2 seed answers that. You get a 2 seed, you're viewed as one of the top 8 teams in the tournament, and it's up to us to make that true. Every year there's that one team you thought was going to go far, and they just don't, because it's not a 7-game series. It's 40 minutes. It's whoever's at their very best. And the one thing that we did in Las Vegas that we want to continue to do is we didn't beat ourselves. We brought our style to the table in all 3 games. We were able to out-rebound all 3 opponents. We defended the 3-point shot very well. For the most part, maybe a few exceptions against Oregon, we really took care of the ball. We're an excellent free throw shooting team. Think about if we handled that better down the stretch of Oregon, the game wouldn't have come down to that point, because uncharacteristically we missed, I think, 5 out of 6 free throws down the stretch. How many games we've made 5 out of 6 to win by, 1 or 2 possessions. So, those are the things that we're focused on, that we want to make sure that we bring everything to the table that makes us a good team, and that's what we can control.
Alonzo said something last night where he said that, and especially this year, that he's a lot like you in the sense of intensity and passion. You guys occasionally bark at each other, and then 30 minutes later everything's good, and pushing each other. I don't know if you agree with that, and is that at all the case from your perspective? And does he remind you in any way? I know you're a different player than him, but does he remind you in any way of the way you were as a player?
No, I think that one thing about Alonzo, and he has a kind of a poker face when he plays, but he loves the game of basketball, loves it. He works as hard at the game as any player that I've ever coached or been around. And when you work at something that hard, it's tough to not be successful, and you don't handle it well when things don't go well, because you expect to do well because of all the work, the tireless work you've put in. And he's done that. And but we've been together in some ways longer than it appears because of our USA basketball relationship. So I know him, and I think he's really learned me. But nobody you want to go to battle with more than Alonzo. He's ready to go, and he believes in himself down the stretch. He'll go to the foul line with great confidence, and I think that belief, a lot like Kadan, it's very contagious when you have somebody like him on your team.
Along those lines, Raleigh is different. Did you have a guy like him before, maybe a Xavier or whatever, David West or something? He's big, mobile, can do a lot of different things well and not limited, just different.
Yeah, Raleigh is like he's like a cross between Stanley Johnson and Rondé Hollis Jefferson. He really is. He has characteristics of both, and he might actually, from a first-year perspective, a freshman, he might do a few things better. And, maybe in their own way, they certainly brought some things to the table maybe that Raleigh will improve or doesn't do as well. But, he's been really consistent for us. I mean, the fact he made the all-freshman team in the Pac-12 this year with as many talented freshmen as there is, again, it says a lot about his talent. But when Raleigh plays well, in my mind, he gives us a big spark. I almost feel like our team follows.
It could be just a tip, it could be just a whatever, but it kind of gets you guys going somehow.
Yeah.
He's done it a few times.
He does a lot of things for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
You feel like, granted, Oregon lost Boucher, UCLA may have a little bit tougher path going out south, and you and Gonzaga are going to have to go head-to-head if you even get there in that matchup. But, I mean, the chances of getting a team from the West in the Final Four at this point, do you feel
I hope
like,
it.
at least
I hope it
one or two?
happens. Yeah, certainly. I hope it happens. And VCU and St. Mary's. I mean, I'll address St. Mary's. I mean, we've scrimmaged them over the last several seasons, and there's nobody that we respect more than Randy Bennett, how he coaches and the team that he has. We have quite a few players that have played against them and know how tough they are. VCU is from the Atlantic 10, and I feel like I've got to know them through my brother, and they're very, very good. And, obviously we have to play North Dakota. And, when you deal with a regular season champion, somebody that's been really good from start to finish, it's well coached, then in addition wins their tournament, they're a really good team. And I remember watching Weber State when we played them a few years ago, and they had a big guy, and I remember thinking, like, man, I'm not so sure that this guy, couldn't play in the NBA one day. As a matter of fact, I think I said it. Sure enough, I think he has played in the NBA. But that's what happens in the tournament. There are no easy games, and every team you have to respect. I'm sure there are quite a few people that, when they saw us draw Wichita State a year ago, would say, Wichita State, they're going to be okay. About 3 minutes into the game, you figured out real quickly that they were a team capable of getting to the Final Four last year.
Does last year have effect, or this year, with that?
No doubt. It's a healthy respect, and it's a healthy reminder of how quickly the season can end. And we've had quite a few players that have reflected on that moment through the offseason and even this year.
Sean, what was your father's reaction to both you and Archie winning Coach of the Year honors in your respective conferences?
I think he's very, very proud. He's just a great coach in his own right. Somebody that just, you learn that just because somebody doesn't coach in the NBA doesn't mean they're lesser of a coach. Some of our game's great coaches are at the high school level, and I'd put my dad in that category. So, there's a reason that my brother and I went to coaching, and first of all, he helped us become good players and get a scholarship to college. So, we both have a lot of him in us, and I know, and my mom as well, our whole family. I think you're proud, and when something like that happens, I don't know if it's ever happened before, right? So, as a matter of fact, my brother sent me a cake that a bakery in Dayton, Ohio made, and it celebrated both of us being the Coach of the Year. If you'd have told me that there would be a bakery in Dayton, Ohio that would have a cake in my honor when I was at Xavier, I'd say, man, that's not going to happen. Well, I've really come a long, long way in Dayton, Ohio.
Did you taste that side of the cake?
No, I just saw a picture. I think he wanted to send it to me because he probably thought I wouldn't believe it. But Dayton, those guys have a tough draw with Wichita State, so I don't think I have to explain to him my feelings about Wichita State. They're an excellent team.
You guys have the last tip time of the night. It was just announced. Is that a preference? Would you have liked to have gone earlier? Does it matter?
What time?
Probably around 7.
That's early. I mean, 7's early. I mean, we're used to those 9 o'clock starts. Early, late. One time in the tournament, and I don't even know if it was here at Arizona. I think it was at Xavier. We played a noon tip-off, and if you play a noon tip-off, it's almost bizarre because you're playing on a weekday, and every time you picture the NCAA tournament, you picture playing in front of like this packed, sold-out arena. And in that case, it was just like barely filled. I mean, at noon tip-off on a weekday, it doesn't always feel right. So I think at least the pageantry and the setting will be in place. But again, our team, among the many things that I admire about our team, we have played 11 a.m., I think twice. We've played in different time zones. We've played very, very late games. And we've been ready. You know, I mean, other than the one game at Oregon, and I'm not so sure we weren't ready for that game. They were that good on that night. We've been really consistent with our approach, and hopefully we'll be that way on Thursday night.
You did that at Miami of Ohio, I think, when you played Arizona in '95. It was a noon game.
Right, and we knew it was a 9 a.m. game, I think, for Arizona, so that was clearly to our advantage as we drove 20 minutes to the game.
Right, and beat Arizona.
Yeah.
Does it help you at all, you think, going to Salt Lake and playing at altitude, since you do every year anyway, and know how to, not only do the players know, at least the returning guys, but you know how to subtly tweak your rotation if you need to? Does that make a difference, you think, against teams who haven't? I know St. Mary's,
Yeah.
of course, but not you.
And I think, you know, there's a fine line between not making too big of a deal out of it as well. I hope I'm right about this, but, you know, I think the elevation at Colorado is higher than it is at Salt Lake. So, you know, we're in Utah, you know, we're not at Colorado. So that someone told me back in the day, UNLV, Coach Tark might have mentioned his guys that, you know, altitude fellas, don't even worry about it. Only bothers you if you're outside. You've heard that story, right? So that's the other way of looking at it.
Thanks.
Thanks. Oh, did you, by the way, that camera, you have the, how did that work out? The CBS had a camera, I don't think, have you done that before? Where they've shot?
No,
you?
not here, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great, yeah.
How did that come about? Or
I think they just asked, and Injur's connections.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted it, because like a lot of times you guys like kind of like
Yeah.
be low key or whatever. You know, so.
No, we took a different
Yeah.
approach. It was good.
Okay.